when we understand these three personal culture zones, what we can appreciate is how it is that we're going to be being experienced by other people. All right, so if you want to understand whether you're conducting yourself in a really healthy, wholesome, valuable, mature way or not, again, just look at the quality and the depth of your relationships. They will tell they will literally share all. So these three personal culture zones about how it is that you get to conduct yourself every day. All right. Some people live their lives in the panic zone, right? I used to live here. I probably spent from the age of maybe 16 or 17 through to my mid-20s living in panic zone. And this was me living in a place where I'm just emotionally reacting to life, right? Anything could happen, in my career, in my relationships, and I would just react to life emotionally. For me, reacting would look like sometimes getting angry, getting stressed out, getting enraged. Sometimes I'd get a little bit anxious, right? These were just emotional feelings that I would have, a consequence of my attitude and approach to life, living life in this panic zone. When I was living life in this panic zone, I would find that I was very, very critical of others, right? Very judgmental, quick to make assumptions, very biased, very discriminative. I often worried about my future in the panic zone. Of course, that's what panic is, isn't it? Panicking about what may or may not happen at some point in the future. It's a consequence of the perspective, of the attitude. I would often complain about people. I would pick faults, other people's imperfections, their flaws, their failings, right? I wouldn't pick faults of my own faults and failings. Reason being is because I'm living life from this place of panic. All I can see is other people's faults and failings, right? I don't reflect on my own, just easy to point out. Have you ever found that? It's easier to identify the flaws and imperfections in other people than what it is to identify the flaws and imperfections within ourselves. But if you find yourself in this place, this is going to lead you nowhere healthy whatsoever. You can stay here for as long as you want, all right? But you're not going to be found appealing by other human beings, apart from other panicky stress heads. People in the panic zone have a tendency of mostly focusing on what they don't have or what they don't want. People in the panic zone have a tendency of doing very self-consumed, very destructive things. They will often share negative information. Now, if it's easier for you to do so, think about or identify some people that you have in your life who operate in the zone, the panic zone, right? Now, once you've identified at least one person, and I'm sure that's not going to be so hard for you, now ask yourself another question. How much do you enjoy being in this person's company? On a scale of 1 to 100. Now, if that's one of the only friends you have, then it might be a relationship that's based more upon necessity than choice, all right? But still, when you are keeping company with people who are stressed out and panicky, and they're going to most likely not be taking time to listen to you. They'll most likely spend quite a bit of time talking over you, judging, making assumptions. Because when panic's in, wit is out, right? Panic is the opposite of mindfulness, right? Mindfulness lives at one end of the spectrum. Panic and stress lives at the other. Panic is about when our mind is going that fast-paced, right? We can't see any rhyme nor reason. Okay, mindfulness is about reflecting, remember? Observers of life. The panic zone, experiencers of life. We have observer of life, then we have emotional experiencer of life. So that's one zone, all right? And when people start studying mindfulness, it's usually because they have a relationship with this zone. They know what it is to live life in this zone, right? Perhaps full of fear or full of angst or full of sadness or isolation or loneliness or emotional overwhelm. The good news is we get to grow out of this as we become more mindfully aware of ourselves, right? So this is the direction. This is why I want to share this idea. Again, give you a bit of a vision for yourself and how you can benefit from this training, because this is what I want to lead you in. I want to lead you out of the panic zone, if you do in fact find yourself in the panic zone, and into the awareness zone. The awareness zone is not the panic zone, it's what comes next. You've got to step out of panic, all right, and into awareness. You've got to choose to leave this behind. The awareness zone is usually solution-focused, where we think about how to be better for other people, how to show up more authentically in and within ourselves, We're aware of our emotional triggers. We're aware of how it is that we might have a tendency to exercise bias or discrimination or judgmentalism. We're aware of these things, right? We've started to wake up to ourselves. When we're self-aware, we never self-sabotage. When we're operating from a place of panic, we'll self-sabotage all the time. Why? Because we're going to say things that we don't mean to say. We're sometimes going to do things that we don't mean to do. And then other people are going to react or respond to how it is that we be, which leads us into a whole new set of consequences. The awareness zone doesn't self-sabotage because we're aware of what we're saying, how we're saying what we're saying, what we're doing, our attitude, where our focus is being channeled at any one given moment in time. I'm focused on, not feeling anxious anymore, or I'm focused on growing and developing and maturing, right? I'm focused on, depressed, I don't want to feel depressed anymore, or I'm focused on doing something meaningful and rewarding with my life, perhaps channeling my focus away from other people, or away from myself, and onto the good that I can do for other people. It's all a choice, all right? This is the choice that comes about through self-awareness. Make sense? Cool. When we're aware, we focus on the good, the wise and the healthy, because we know that we now have a choice. When we're living in panic, we can't see the wood for the trees. All we can see is red. All we can see is emotion. We become blinded by our thoughts, blinded by our beliefs, and blinded by our emotion. If you're okay with waking up, right, and if we are going to get over my imperfections and your imperfections and all that kind of stuff, then together we might be able to progress by the end of this course into the power zone. And this is a very, very exciting place to live life. Right? I promise you, we're not just completely aware, but we're operating from a place of substance, right? Wholeness. This is where we understand that when problems and hurdles and challenges come our way in life, they're not to get stressed out over or panic over, which is what many people do. Problems and hurdles and challenges present us with opportunity to grow and improve and learn and develop, and this is exciting stuff. But only if we're coming from a place of power. If we're coming from a place of panic, then hurdles and challenges and obstacles are going to most likely be a reason for our depression and our stress or our anger or our angst. All right? Remember, if we want to come into alignment, we've got to get into the same page. Right? We could be reading the same book, but if we're not reading the same page, then we're not going to be able to relate to each other. Hence the reason I want to give you a vision for how it is that you can go on to become. It is possible for you to enter into this power zone and live the rest of your life there. It is possible, but it's going to require some hard work and some discipline on your behalf. Right? No one else in the world can do this for you. So problems allow us to grow. We actively seek wise information, not nonsensical information. We're not looking for quick fix techniques or the next guru who has the new breathing process, or, we're not going to be sitting in our prayer cushions chewing on sultanas and raisins looking for an emotional experience. We're only going to be doing that from a place of mindlessness when we're existing in the panic zone, right? This is why do you think so many people, go to these deep breathing long weekends? I don't know about you, but I've been breathing since the day I was born, right? I didn't have to get taught this stuff. If I want to deep breathe, I'll breathe deeply, in through the mouth, out through the nose, allows me to self-regulate and then get on with life. When we're aware, when we're in a place of power, we don't need deep breathing, all right? We want more understanding, we want more wisdom, we want more knowledge. This is what the philosophers and the ancient scriptures of old propose, to grow in understanding. Not emotion, right? Emotionally unregulated people, they just want emotion. Emotion is better than the one they're experiencing. But people who are aware, people who are growing, seek significantly more mature things. All right. Now, this is going to be touching a little nerve for some people, but it's okay, all right? Allow yourself the experience. If you're taking offense right now, wagging your little finger at me, it's okay. It's okay. Go with the flow. We're growing here, all right? When we're in the power zone, we do our best by other people. We do our best by people. We're not going to want to withdraw or hold back what we know could otherwise serve people. We're grateful for what we have and also for who we are, right? We're not sitting, reflecting from a place of gratitude and gratefulness all day, like in that really unnecessary way. We just kind of acknowledge what we have and who we are. Then we get on with life, because life is to be got on with, right? We never know when that one's going to end, do we? And we build healthy relationships from a place of the power zone because we're invested into relationships. If we're not investing into relationships, then we're looking to be invested into. And again, we're only going to need that if we're in the panic zone, right? Feeling that we are not enough or insufficient in some way. From the power zone, we become a source of hope and inspiration, and also a source of life for other people. Not all people, because not all people will be ready for our power. All right, but what do you think mindfulness is ultimately all about? Having a feeling, having an emotion, being at peace within oneself, or living life in a powerful, mature, and substantial way that other people ultimately find value in? Listen, you get to choose. It's entirely up to you. Teachers here to teach, learners here to learn.